Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, yesterday turned out to be a lackluster kind of a day for the markets. The Nifty witnessed minor pullback after the very strong run that we'd seen both on Friday and then on Monday as well. The lull of yesterday was a proof that the recent rally was definitely fueled by the IT stocks and heavyweights like Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank, and their non-participation yesterday meant the index traded mostly on a sideways to downwards pattern. Now, will the markets rebound after a day's gap? We will tell you all of it, but first up the top headlines we're tracking for you this hour. Indian stocks are likely to pause their upward climb as negative cues from Wall Street will push the local bulls on the back foot. Rising US yields, dollar index and inflationary fears. The US markets. Geopolitical concerns are hitting risk on sentiment across the world due to rising military engagements between Western powers and countries, groups in the Middle East. Indian traders are advised extreme caution on the long side. Booking profit is the best way forward. Very good morning to all our viewers and very good morning to you, Shail, as well. Shail, we managed to see that 22,124 on the Nifty as you were indicating early morning yesterday. And right after that, the markets took a U-turn. You were expecting to see this magic number right ahead of January 22nd. It's now happened. It's the non-support from big heavyweight banks that will keep the question on whether the upward momentum will sustain on the markets, especially HDFC Bank, because the ADR shares have actually slipped 7%. That may indicate some more downtick coming in the domestic markets too.
Absolutely, Sakshi. A very warm good morning to you and to viewers who are joining us from different parts of the world on this Wednesday morning. One thing up front, it's the weekly expiry of Bank Nifty and it's the negative set of numbers that have been coming in from the third quarter performance of HDFC Bank. So that is what has to be kept at the topmost agenda as far as your intraday moves are concerned. Sakshi, again I'll ask you, would you want me to start with the positives or would you want me to list the reality?
List the reality today because that's more important for all the viewers.
Perfect. So we'll start with what is right there in front of us and we are trying to ignore. So for the moment, Sakshi, the most important level was 22,000. And that has been achieved by the Nifty. Remember, this was the actually the December target which came on by 15th of Jan and we exceeded it by about 124 points. The Nifty paying obeisance to the consecration of the Sri Ram temple, which is due on Jan 22nd. So that is over. Now what has happened, Sakshi, is there are a series of cascading events that have hit global sentiment across the board as far as equities are concerned. You'll just see the dollar index coming on your screen. It has crossed the 200-day DMA from below. It essentially means that the rally in commodities will pause. The US 10-year yield is now back above the 4% mark, and that's cumbersome for all risk-on trades, including equities globally. The US inflationary pressures are not as weak as they were supposed to be. Therefore, a lot of commentary has come in that the rate cuts that you are expecting in 2024, perhaps from March onwards, will be delayed. All put together has resulted in equities pausing globally. Now remember, everything was on a record high. The Dow, the S&P 500, the Nifty, all sorts of other Indian indices were at record highs, mid cap, small cap, and valuations had run far, far away from what reality was. If you look at the mid cap Nifty, Sakshi, the PE of 29 is somewhere like 35 to 40% above its median. So there was extreme exuberance. You go to any party, people there would tell you, "Aapne ye stock nahi dekha kya?" And those are the first signs of you should be booking profit. You remember yesterday we spoke about how one must, book profit on extremely profitable positions, and that has been proved true. You will see a gap down today on the Nifty. Now the story remains, will the gap down persist? We've had two trending days on Friday and Monday. Both added 200, 250 points each. Tuesday was quiet. Wednesday will take some gains away as far as Nifty is concerned. Now, where will this settle? So the 5-day EMA is 21,902. Which is somewhere like 100 points away. This will be taken by the bears today. The 9-day moving average is 21,800. Let's see whether that holds or not. And you have a very, very strong option chain support at 21,900 as far as bulls are concerned. Let us see how that points out. But for the moment, one must be very, very agile and not buy the dip. Let us wait for the Nifty to resume another trend, and then we'll look at getting back into it on the long or the short side. But for the moment, the party has paused.
All right, the party has paused for the moment. Let's also look at how Nifty Bank now seems to be going forward from here. It was in a snooze mode yesterday along with the Nifty, and it's the weekly options expiry today.
Yes.
We've also got no help from HDFC Bank earnings. The NIM compression is a big concern over there. And, we are also looking at the big heavyweight earnings now to follow, like ICICI Bank as well. How do you really look at Nifty Bank now playing out?
Absolutely. So, Sakshi, again, we started the conversation with the weekly expiry. So, mostly weekly expiries show the index sideways, whether it's the Nifty or the Bank Nifty. But today, the spanner in the wheel is HDFC Bank's third quarter earnings. You mentioned right at the beginning that the ADR fell 6%. We'll try and show you that screen in front of you as far as the HDFC Bank ADR is concerned. But you see Nifty Bank rallying for 4 days and as Sakshi said, snoozing on Tuesday, which was T-1 for them. So a gap down definitely. And yes, see, this is the ADR in front of you. And it's broken, Sakshi, the 200-day DMA and a host of other shorter moving averages in a single move. That essentially means that reconstruction of this graph will now be painful. And we know that HDFC Bank is 33% of Bank Nifty. And if that moves in sync with what the ADR has done, then you can well imagine what the state will be. So 47,500 is what is the first support. Most likely it will be broken. And then we'll take a call. But for the moment, again, this is not a buy on dip so far. Let this dust settle. Sakshi.
Absolutely. But are there any stocks that you will be watching out for in the F&O space, Shail? Is that a space that one should be looking at?
Sakshi, no. I will just wait and watch for the first half an hour. We must understand that, you know, when we talk about gap ups and the stock moving and the index moving straight up, that happened on Friday and Monday. Remember, the index had opened higher and then continued to make higher highs. Now we have to see whether the gap down will continue to make lower lows. What can easily happen is that you have a 200 point dip on the Nifty and a 500-700 point dip on the Bank Nifty, and the index then flattens out. If that is the case, then we will take a consideration then. But even FNO is overheated, Sakshi. There are somewhere like 8-10 stocks in FNO ban, which basically means it's just too much of bullishness. You remember yesterday I talked about PCR, put call ratio for the Nifty at 1.5 for the weekly expiry Jan 18th and 1.4 to Jan 25th. That's extremely overbought, and this has to settle down to towards 1, below 1, or maybe 1.1, 1.15, कुछ तो आए तभी हम लोग देखेंगे. The Bank Nifty had rallied about 600 points from 1600 points from its most recent low. So some of that has to be given back to the market. 50% ले लें और फिर ऊपर चलें, बढ़िया. Don't mind.
Okay. Fair enough. Let's also look at how the global market cues are shaping up. Remember, US markets also fell overnight as the bond yields rose. Then the Fed Governor Christopher Waller also indicated in a speech that the central bank could actually ease monetary policy slower than what the Wall Street was anticipating. So that remark also was not taken in too well by the US indices. So we did see the Dow, the Nasdaq, and even the S&P 500 coming under pressure, with Dow Jones slipping about 0.6% in trade, then S&P 500 down about 0.4% and 0.2% of cut coming in on the Nasdaq as well. Now, following this, benchmark indices in the Asian markets also opened mixed in trade in the midweek trading day, and that's right ahead of the key economic data emerging from China too. So the Nikkei was slightly up, about 0.6% up in trade. It's come off from the opening levels already. Kospi is the one that's taken it on the chin, about 2% down, and Hang Seng also about 2.7% down in trade, and the Shanghai index was also down by about 0.7%. And now the GIFT Nifty is indicating a gap down start for the Nifty as well, and about almost 150 points of a cut is what it's indicating already. Now, as far as the flows are concerned, the foreign institutional investors bought shares worth about 656 odd crore rupees in yesterday's trading action, while the domestic institutional investors sold about 369 odd crore rupees worth of stocks in yesterday's trade as well. Now, as far as the stocks to watch list is concerned, of course, HDFC Bank will be the topmost stock that you need to watch out for after it registered a 2.5% sequential growth in net profit, because the year-on-year numbers are not comparable, because this is the number for the merged entity that we are talking about and we've got yesterday. Now, 16,372 crores for December quarter is something that we saw, partly affected by the higher bad loan provisions, and the net interest income just grew by 4% sequentially during the quarter. Net interest income came in at 28,471 crores. Of course, the gross NP also slipped a bit to 1.26% from 1.34%. So that's the key number that you need to watch out for. Piramal Pharma, that's another stock that you can keep on your watch list. It's a critical care, which is a division of Piramal Pharma, has announced the launch of a new concentration of zinc sulfate injection in the US markets that could trigger a positive momentum on the stock. L&T Technology Services, of course, the earnings impact will be seen on this one. It reported a net profit of 336 crores for the December quarter, up 6.6% a year ago, and the revenues just about flattish, 1.5% growth over there. Godrej Properties, it's acquired additional acre of land in Yeswantpur in Bengaluru. The land could yield nearly 1.4 lakh square feet of saleable area for the company. Again, a positive news. ICICI Securities, the company has reported a 66% year-on-year growth in standalone profit at 465 odd crore rupees, backed by healthy top line and operating performance. Revenues also grew by 50.5% to 1322 crores. Good set of numbers coming in on that one. ICICI Lombard, from the insurance arm of ICICI, the company registered 22.4% year-on-year growth in net profit at about 431 odd crore rupees, while the gross direct premium income increased by 13.4% to 6230 odd crore rupees as well. All right, and it's also going to be, a lot of other pockets that are going to be in focus, like cement's going to be in focus because brokerage houses have come out with their big reports. Morgan Stanley believes that the industry is in the middle of a multi-year demand upcycle. So we will keep an eye out on all the stocks from the cement basket and the stocks that they have raised the target prices as well, including Ambuja, ACC, Ultratech Cement, Dalmia Bharat and Grasim as well.
Absolutely. And there is the most important reason why Sakshi read out the report from Morgan Stanley on the cement sector is because it's a favorite space to be when it comes to picking stocks. Today we'll be joined by the favorite duo on Wednesday, as always, Gaurang Shah and Milin Vasudev. One on the fundamental side and the other on the technical side. Remember, Gaurang has a very, very strong understanding of the cement sector, and we'll be talking about a lot many shares there. He has over time suggested JK Lakshmi Cement and Dalmia Cement as his top favorites in the mid cap and the large cap space, respectively. But Sakshi, the other points I'd like to sort of mention is the fact that a lot of froth was building up in many sectors within the PSU space. If you remember, on some stocks we had actually stopped taking technical views because they were extremely overheated, and many of your headlines over the last 5-7 days in particular have been advising caution, especially on the long side, especially in the cash counters. And let us see how it pans out. But the GIFT Nifty is pointing to something like a 150 to 180 point cut as far as prices are concerned on the Nifty. And of course, we'll see the IT stocks also coming down substantially. You remember there is a 6% cut on the HDFC Bank ADR. The Wipro ADR is also, not in the best of shapes. It had risen dramatically 16% when the earnings, earnings were negative, so to say, but they were better than the very weak expectations of the market. So the Wipro ADR had gone up 16% 2 days ago and is now down 7.5%. So that will also impact the IT segment, and therefore the overall Nifty as well. Sakshi, for your perusal, I have sent the Wipro ADR chart to you. You can just see how the downdraft has sort of started. It opened lower and also closed near its day's low. So that basically points to more selling, and that will get reflected in the local Wipro stock on the Lal Street. Sakshi.
And we will continue to watch out for both the heavyweight spaces, the IT pack that had been a big support for the Nifty over the last 2 or 3 odd trading sessions when the markets really rallied above and catapulted to 22,000 and above those levels, and of course the banking stocks. Right now we're not looking at any support coming in from them until the time these sectors, the underperforming sectors of the past, really perform and take the charge front line. It's very going to be difficult for the markets to really rally from here on as well. Let's look at a few brokerage houses reports as well. Apart from the entire cement pack that's on the radar of Morgan Stanley that I just pointed out, we're also looking at a few more other sectors that are on the radar. So auto is one sector that CLSA has come out with a report on, and we discussed the auto space widely with Gaurang and Milin, and we will continue to do so even today. CLSA has downgraded the two-wheeler stocks. Bajaj Auto to sell, cut the target price to 63.15. It's also downgraded Eicher Motors to sell and cut the target price to 37.16 as well. And apart from that, there's also Hero MotoCorp that they have instead maintained a buy, but and have also raised the target price to 49.64. So of the 3 two-wheeler stocks, they are bullish on Hero MotoCorp as of now. Apart from this, on HDFC Bank, again a slew of brokerage houses reports have come in, and we've actually seen most of them continuing to maintain a buy on HDFC Bank. Citi, Jefferies, HSBC, InCred, Motilal Oswal Financial Services, they've all maintained a buy on HDFC Bank, and the target price ranges anywhere between 1950, which is a neutralish target, to the most overweight target that we have got is from in fact Bernstein, which has an outperform on the bank and a target price of 2200 as well. So very, very strong upside is what they believe HDFC Bank really promises at this point in time. Apart from this, we also have a UBS report on Bajaj Finance. Remember, yesterday we were discussing this stock far and wide. It has a sell rating on the company with a target price of 6800 as well. On the other stocks from the insurance space, for example, ICICI Lombard, that's the one that Morgan Stanley is overweight on with a target price of 1750. All right, let's welcome our guest on the show. Gaurang Shah now joins in, Senior Vice President, Geojit Financial Services. Very good morning to you, Gaurang. It's great to have you back with us on Business Today Television. Of course, we don't have a very, very positive setup when it comes to global cues, even the earnings from the heaviest weighted bank. But, how do you really see this panning out now that we have a 22,000 mark already in the backdrop and, lackluster support from these big heavyweight counters?
Thank you, Sakshi, and morning to you as well. And always it's a pleasure to be on your and Shail's show this morning. So, a peak 22,000 has been achieved. We were very close to 22,100. We were unable to sustain over there, and now a fair bit of consolidation. And I think we have to give it to the market, Sakshi. Last week, Friday, was a stellar run on fallback of Nifty IT index, which carried on even on Monday, which was led by Nifty IT index. Post the numbers, I think a lot of crowd that was on the street, which was advising to stay away from IT, have possibly changed their stance. We were always there with IT. We are still there and we'll be there in terms of investment ideas. I think there are plenty of opportunities over there. And in terms of markets, honestly, Sakshi, I think on Monday we gave out our market outlook. And we had said that it's going to be a consolidation. That consolidation could be in the range of 21,750, 21,800 in case if the selling pressure is going to get elevated. And on the higher side, if we are able to sustain about 22,050 closer to 22,100, then eventually a level of 22,200 and 22,300 is absolutely visible. But given the run-up, I think it's only prudent to possibly expect a little bit of more consolidation. Maybe we are possibly closer to the floor of 21,800, 21,750, wherein the selling pressure might ease off a little bit, and possibly you might see some amount of buying coming in, which will support us on the higher level.
Okay. Very warm good morning to you, Gaurang. And I must add that meeting you after, I think it was 4 years. 4 years in Mumbai was a refreshing experience. Sakshi, just to update you, Gaurang and I met last week, I think post-COVID. He used to frequent our studios earlier, but how life is. And between these 4 years, as we all know, Gaurang increases his wisdom on a daily basis, and we are fortunate to have him. So what now, Gaurang? I am sure you have on your wonderful desktop that I saw last week, a list of stocks that you would like to add to your, how should I say, overflowing portfolio if they correct. What would be one or two long picks?
So, Shail, thanks, man. It was really a pleasure seeing you in Mumbai after, I think it was donkey years. Really, it was a pleasure to see you. And I hope next time you are down, and even if Sakshi is down, we should definitely meet up for either lunch or dinner and catch up on our good old pastimes. So, in terms of investment ideas, Shail, one stock that went, I think, the split value was lowered from 10 to 5, and that is Cochin Shipyard. The last that I remember yesterday that I saw the stock trading was about 750 or 800 or thereabouts, Cochin Shipyard. Tremendous amount of value, to be very honest, and I think with the kind of dry dock facility that Cochin Shipyard has down south, it's huge amongst the Southeast Asia Pacific. Great opportunity over here. We are looking at 12 1,200 as a target, 1,200. These are all preliminary targets, keeping in mind the order book execution and the earnings that we've seen. But I'm sure this company is going to overshoot those targets as well on fallback of good earnings. And the next one, Shell, is going to be from the real estate pack. It is a little bit of high beta play, real estate, because despite of the regulation, RERA, etc., that has come in, this sector remains high beta. And on a day when you have markets correcting, real estate would be the first one to sacrifice itself. So just a word of caution, have a little bit of high beta appetite. But Prestige Estates is the stock that we are extremely excited about. Has fair bit of play down south in the state of Karnataka, Bangalore city, but has able to step up its footprints pan India, including in Maharashtra city of Mumbai. They've got some large projects going through. So these are the two investment ideas of now.
Okay, Cochin Shipyard and Prestige Estates. We're also now joined by Mileen Vasudev, Senior Technical Research Analyst from Arihant Capital. Mileen, welcome to Business Today Television and to Market Today. It's going to be another, very, very insightful trading session where we're going to be taking a lot from you and from Gaurang. What we'll do is we'll take a very, very short break right now. When we return, we're going to be discussing your top stock picks, and with the pre-open, we will start the interaction.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
Welcome back on this fresh Wednesday morning, which we are facing in terms of, how should I say, a negative commentary coming in from HDFC Bank as far as the ADR is concerned, a bit of a disappointment there. We also have the weekly expiry of the Bank Nifty, and the GIFT Nifty shows signs of at least a 150-point gap down. Okay, we have prices, ladies and gentlemen, and the Nifty is about 150 points lower, in sync with what the GIFT Nifty suggested, 21,870 in front of you. Now let's look at what are the contributing factors. I just want to see the price of HDFC Bank first, because 3% lower, 1625. This is a sensible kind of a reaction. Remember, the ADR slipped 6%. Now let us see how that improves. The Nifty is now slipping further, 250 points lower, 21,783. That's primarily because of a substantial downtick on Reliance. I'm sure that will correct. Axis Bank and ICICI Bank have ticked 2 and 2.5% lower, in sync with what HDFC Bank's earnings have been reacted to by the market. Now, what is sort of holding the index together? TCS 1.3% higher, 39.13. I don't think so this will continue. How about Infosys? 0.7% lower, 16.20. It's not looking good to begin with. HDFC Bank is now down 4%. Reliance is down 1.8%. So that's stabilizing for the moment. Let's look at F&O, and let's look at the most active counters with a green downtick. Okay, Adani Ports 3.8% lower, 1148. I'm not much concerned with that one. RBL Bank. Now these are relatively weaker balance sheets compared with HDFC Bank, and they are showing signs of distress. RBL Bank is 8% lower, 270. How about ICICI Bank? Now 4% lower at 965. The Nifty is now clocking a 300-point downtick at 21,718. Any stocks in the green in F&O? Let's just check. Okay, market is actually now turning defensive because pharma stocks are up. Sun Pharma 1% higher, 1324. Dr. Reddy's flat 1560, 57.59. Apollo Hospitals about a percent higher, 59.50. A very quick look at NSE 500, and then we'll touch base with Milin Vasudev. Okay. Top losers I am looking at. Okay. RBL Bank, 1, 2, 3. 5 top losers in NSE 500, and 4 of them are banks. L&T Technology Services 2.5% lower, 52.12. Nifty 373 points lower, 21,658, which means the 5, 9 and 20-day moving averages have been taken out in this downdraft. Let's see how Nifty opens at 9:15, but this is the time to say hello to Milin Vasudev. Very good morning to you, Milin. The screen is red. What do you think?
Good morning, Shail. Yes, no doubt we had rallied nearly for say in 10 to 12 weeks from current levels, and if you see there is a strong support at 21,600 to 21,700 levels. These are 21,622 is the Nifty spot 20-day moving average line, which is rising. So at present, I would say that there could be some support over there, and bounce back could come from those levels. Let's see how for 1 hour Nifty opens and how it settles in first hour trades.
Okay, Milin, let's just look at your top 2 picks for today's trade, and then carry this discussion forward. At the moment, the Nifty is 390 points lower, 21,644. Milin, to you, your 2 top picks.
Yesterday in the evening session, we saw good buying happening in the metal stocks. So some kind of a sector rotation could be there in the following week. So I'm recommending 2 stocks. One is MOIL, which is currently trading at 435. Stop loss 410, target would be 485 and 510. The second stock is Sunflake Iron, currently trading at 223. Stop loss would be 200, target would be 266 and 280 in couple of days time.
Okay. All right, we're seeing a very sharp downward reaction in the pre-opening trade, at least 368 points down on the Nifty, 21,666. Milin, what's the sense that you have? Are we going to see this sharp gap down? And do you think these dips will again be bought? Because in the past instances, we've always seen the markets in a buy-in-dip zone. Are things going to be different this time? Or again, do you see we are going to see a rebound in the markets?
See, we are expecting some rebound in the market from say 21,600 levels, and from there we could see some kind of an rebound because now clearly if you draw a trade line joining the 2 significant highs, then a rising wedge is can be seen on the index, so which is a very sign. And if 21,600 is broken on the lower side, then yes, the correction could be little bit more on the lower side. So 21,600 remains a make or break level going forward.
Okay, and HDFC Bank, that's the counter that we need to watch out for in the pre-opening space. It's down 6%, almost in sync with ADR. That was down 7%, so it is reacting to those numbers. Gaurang, tell us, your own sense. It's 1580 right now on HDFC Bank. Your own sense of the earnings. What was the biggest negative that street is reacting to?
Well, honestly, I think Sakshi, this is a recent reaction, and it's a pre-open trade. So I won't comment or read too much into the pre-open trades. But just in case if it does open anywhere between 4, 5, 6% down, sub 1600 or whatever be it, let me give a very honest disclosure. We are maintaining our positive stance on the buy side as far as HDFC Bank is concerned. Targets are somewhere close to about 2,000 rupees. In terms of long-term investment idea, Sakshi, I'll give a very honest advice to all the viewers and investors of HDFC Bank and viewers of your BTTV that just because a large private sector bank maybe disappoints on one or two parameters, numbers are not in line with what the street or the market expects, please do not do any major changes in your long-term portfolio as far as HDFC Bank is concerned. Keep it in your portfolio. If you have investable amount, please go and invest when you get these kind of corrections. And even if somebody wants to make a fresh investment, I would definitely qualify that.
Absolutely. Sakshi, this is a knee-jerk reaction which we see in extreme volatility in roaring bull markets. 375 points down, 85 points down, 385 points down on the Nifty at start, as also, somewhere like 1500 points down on the bank Nifty, are perhaps opportunities to get into ETFs if not into options trades. And yes, this is very, very sage advice coming in from Gaurang. This is not the time to exit HDFC Bank. In fact, if you don't have it in your portfolio, this is a golden opportunity to perhaps add in the form of a SIP this 6% downfall on HDFC Bank. Let's get Milin's view in here. Milin, what would be a good support level on technical charts for HDFC Bank where long-term investors or even medium-term investors may want to add it as a portfolio pick?
So, Shail, if you look at the weekly charts now, clearly the demand zone is somewhere around 1450 to 1500 levels. So even if it dips down at lower levels, one should try to accumulate in a staggered manner. Definitely, the 50-day moving average line, which is currently at 1607, is rising. So we would see some kind of a bounce back from current levels. So going short at current levels would not be advisable.
Okay, so please do not short HDFC Bank when it opens 7 or 6.5% gap down, and at least don't start buying. Let's see how the index and the stocks settle in 15-20 minutes, because after which is what the retail will do. The first 15 minutes have always belonged to institutionals, and we'll see what the big guys will do. Okay, now Sakshi, what's really interesting is that let's look at the high beta space, which is the PSU setup. Of course, there is profit booking, but there is, the earth has not fallen below its bottom. So ITI, which was up 18%, is opening, is settled 3% lower in pre-open, 362. IRFC, remember the stock has gained, I think, 30% in the last 1 week. Is now down just 2.7% at 138. Bank of India 2.3% lower, 131. And would you believe it, there are defense stocks which are actually up in pre-open. I saw Mazgaon Dock 23.29. The current favorite of Gaurang, Cochin Shipyard, is has settled in the green, 793. And let's look at very, very high beta spaces. I want to see which is the worst performer. Okay, HBL Power down just 2% at 449. So my view, Sakshi, is that you have a gap down, an intraday correction, and probably the Nifty, while it may close in the red today, but it will close above 21,650. Let's get Gaurang into this conversation. Gaurang, hats off to you for your consistent bullish view on Cochin Shipyard. Let's see how it performs over the next 1 or 2 months. But do you think this correction that is looking in front of us will actually be in the blue chip space or in the mid cap space? Prices are not showing any kind of pain except for the banking space.
Shail, I think it's going to be across, to be very honest. It's going to be in your large cap, it's going to be in your mid cap, small cap, micro cap. In case if this is the kind of downtick that we actually witness when the markets really open up for trade. And I'll also say that I will not be surprised to see a recovery post, the knee-jerk lower opening, maybe by the early trade as, end of first half, beginning of second half, or possibly by the time we wind up the trade today, I would not be surprised. to see some kind of recovery coming in. So your correction shell is going to be across the board. Large caps, yes, financials may possibly take a little bit of harder knock on the chin given the overhang of HDFC Bank numbers. So I would not be surprised. It's quite visible that you might see bank and financials leading the downfall this morning.
Very true. All right, we don't have that much pain in the markets as has been indicating. It's limited and limited to a very, very small downtick when it comes to the pain in the banking and the private banks and both the PSU banks and the bank Nifty as well. And we will focus on all of these stocks. Just about 2 minutes to go for the markets to open, and we will see what the reaction is in the opening space as well. Milin, where else do you find investors can really look for a buying opportunity in this dip in the current markets?
See, I had early in the morning only I told that metal sector is looking good on the charts, and some buying yesterday has really has shown good buying interest in metal. So one should buy metal stocks, then the reality, and the cement sector should be viewed at lower levels.
Okay. And very, very interestingly, of course, cement is on top of the radar of brokerage houses as well. And I was reading out the report of Morgan Stanley, where it has given an overweight rating to a slew of cement stocks and, given an overweight rating also to a lot of them as well. And of course, we've discussed Gaurang with you the cement space far and wide, and you've also picked out stocks like JK Cement earlier. Tell us what do you make of the brokerage house report now, and how should one really look at the opportunity? Morgan Stanley believes the industry is in the middle of a multi-year demand cycle. It's upgraded Ambuja to overweight, ACC to equal weight, Ultratech to overweight, Dalmia, Grasim, and Sri Cement also to overweight ratings with target prices raised. So any particular stocks that you'll be betting big on now, Gaurang?
Well, honestly, Sakshi, I think it's going to be one of those sectors which will be in the spotlight for all the good reasons as far as earnings are concerned. The overhang of input cost at an elevated level, which was impacting the margins, profit margins, has now become a thing of the past. Along with the input cost coming down, operational efficiencies have been put in place to increase productivity as well as profitability. Consumption, was always a believer that 365 days in a year, demand for cement is going to be at elevated, though there were certain minds and on the street who said that monsoon is a dampener, offtake doesn't happen, etc. But I don't think so.
Gaurang, my sincere apologies. I'll have to interrupt you. The markets have opened. It's just a 300-point downtick, 21,741. There is heavy selling of calls which had gone short, and that's the reason why you see actually the Nifty moving up. Please show 21,600 call for Jan 18 as far as Nifty is concerned. That is the most critical call that we will be focusing on, because it has opened gap down, but it will show consistent how should I say uptick from now on. 21,600 call for Nifty. What is the price that is coming in front of me? It's not updating, but we'll keep that in mind. Let's look at what HDFC Bank is doing. I think this is a buy on dip very clearly. 5.6% lower, 1584. Reliance is in the green, which is a big plus, 0.5% higher. Infosys is in the green, 1634. What about other banks? ICICI Bank down 1%, Axis Bank down 2%. So remember, these guys are moving up from their most immediate low. What else is happening? Let's look at the FNO stocks. Intense selling in HDFC Bank, already 900 crores rupees worth of trades happening. Reliance in the green, first 7-8 stocks are in the red. Kotak Bank again 1.1% higher, 1825. Let's go to Milleen. Milleen, what would you do? It's now 21,835. People have used this opportunity to buy. Any options trade that you would want to suggest? Maybe the 21,800 call. Milleen, this question was to you. 21,800 call, if at all.
I think there is a technical glitch
I don't
there,
think so.
Shail.
Milleen can.
Yeah.
Okay. Sakshi, I think we'll have to look at the 21,800 call. Let's see what the price is. We'll mark it for our audience. At the moment, the 21,800 call is trading at 145 rupees. It's opened 103, 104 points lower. And this is what we have to look at. It opened actually at 60 rupees, now at 145. So this is the buy on dip that I was talking about. The market was completely out of sync with reality at a 300-point gap down. What else is ticking very well? Let's look at the Nifty top gainers. Apart from what we have discussed, it's not so bad at all. HDFC Life 1% higher, 615.75. Hero Motors 0.5% higher, 44.03. I want to see the PSU basket. This was the highest beta that was moving here. There is no let up, Sakshi. Cochin Shipyard 1.7% higher, 806. Chennai Petro 3% higher, 865.35. Ireda is actually 3.5% higher, 123.70. MSTC 1% higher, 926. Moil, which is a pick that Milleen had pointed out, 336, 0.6% higher. PCR, do we have Milleen Vasudev so far? No. Gaurang, your very quick view on how the market has opened.
Well, Shail, so, normally I don't comment too much in the short-term, medium-term, pre-opening, etc. But I did mention that after seeing an initial knee-jerk reaction on the lower side, we should see the recovery come through. But to my pleasant surprise, the recovery has come sooner rather than later. So my sense is that by the time we do wind up the trade, you are going to see fairly higher levels in terms of closing rather than what we've seen in terms of opening. And I'm sure this dip is going to be looked upon as a huge buying opportunity by long-term investors. And I think there are plenty of ideas that are there on the street that you can look at.
Okay, I think Milleen is back. Shail, do you want to take the Nifty call, 21,800 with Milleen?
I think, Sakshi, that was 2 minutes ago. It's now 1:32, so we'll sort of wait for this one to settle. 5 minutes have passed, and the low was 21,640, and so far we've done 21,840. So can you imagine? It's a 200-point rise in the gap down in just 5 minutes. Milleen is here. Milleen, your view on the Nifty. Anything you'd like to do some gymnastics intraday?
See, if you see the gap down opening, now even if you can buy HDFC Bank at current levels, it will bounce back very sharply because of short covering. So definitely, and I had earlier also mentioned that 21,600 is a make or break level, and from there, Nifty spot also made a low somewhere around say 21,636, and from there we are seeing some bounce back. So going forward, yes, what you say, that is 21,800 call has gone up very sharply. So one should buy calls of 21,800 at current price also. I expect that there could be much bounce from current level.
Okay, got that.
Okay, so that's a good trade coming in, 21,800. Sakshi, to you.
Right, a lot of stocks now coming up in trade, and of course from the F&O space as well. ICICI Lombard, that's up 5%, the top gainer in the F&O action. Milleen, strong numbers there, and the markets are reacting to those. Would you look at the charts and tell us what's the next level you see on ICICI Lombard?
See, ICICI Lombard, if you see, the pullback is there, but definitely there is no clear setup and
Okay.
ICICI Lombard. So I would wait for some clear pattern to emerge in this stock.
Okay, wait for some clear pattern to emerge in this stock. But a lot of stocks are buzzing in the insurance space. You have HDFC Life, SBI Life. They're all moving up in trade. Remember, yesterday was LIC that touched its lifetime high again and crossed the listing price for the very first time as well. Gaurang, how would you look at the fresh momentum in the insurance basket? Is LIC a good buy now?
I, for one, definitely think so, to be very honest with you, Sakshi. And in fact, post the IPO, this is the first time where we've seen the stock price of LIC going towards its IPO price. From the time it got listed and the date that we are witnessing, it was languishing much lower than what the floor of the IPO was. Uh, we have a positive coverage now. We had a positive coverage in terms of IPO note when the IPO was there, Sakshi, to subscribe from a long-term point of view. And along with LIC, we are positive on SBI Life, HDFC Life, ICICI True Life. So we remain extremely positive as far as the life insurance sector is concerned. And the stock that you referred to, Milene, in terms of non-life general insurance, ICICI Lombard, we have a positive coverage just there as well.
Okay. So LIC positive and ICICI Lombard also positive. The other stock that's ticking higher is BHEL, 1.4% up at 205 odd levels. It is definitely one stock which is looking very, very strong at this point in time. Milene, your own sense, 207 right now, 2% higher at days high already. How would you look at BHEL?
See, BHL is looking good on the chart, and at current levels also, it has got good support at somewhere around say 200, 190 levels. On the higher side, this stock could test the levels of say 220 to 230 in couple of days time.
Okay, Sakshi. So the first 10 minutes are now almost over. We are at 21,840 as far as the intraday high is concerned, but we are way, way above what the low was, 21,640. And Sakshi, what's really, really interesting is that people have bought this dip like crazy. And I'll tell you how that's true. Look at the Nifty 500 in terms of stocks apart from HDFC Bank. And remember, HDFC Bank has not fallen below 6%. So, and it's already traded 2,400 crores. So basically, sensible people who are listening to Gaurang, who are listening to Milene, are using this 6% dip to add into HDFC Bank.
Yeah.
Reliance, I'll tell you a very interesting data is actually, okay, the low of Reliance is 27.17, now 27.47. So essentially a 30-point uptick. ICICI Bank, low 986, the stock is at 1000. So 14 rupees uptick. Axis Bank, low 1080, now at 1107. So this is a 27 rupee uptick. Now what about Infosys? The low of Infosys is 1620, the stock is at 1635. In fact, Infosys is actually in the green, which basically means that people have used this opportunity to buy. And again, hats off to Gaurang. Cochin Shipyard, 822, one of the shining lights in this market, which is in the red. Sakshi.
Okay, and a lot of these IT names are actually seeing buying happening from the lower levels. The Nifty IT is in the green now. Apart from Infosys that you pointed out, Shail, we also have TCS, we have LTI Mindtree, Tech Mahindra, all buzzing in trade again. And Gaurang, you pointed out right in the beginning that you will continue with your buying stance on the IT space as well. Tell us, what would your pecking order be now that the big four IT names, IT numbers are already out? How would your pecking order be now there?
Well, Sakshi, The order remains more or less unchanged, to be very honest with you, in terms of large cap IT. So you have TCS, you have HCL Tech Mahindra, Infosys, followed by Wipro, which is surprise, surprise, given our good set of numbers. Stock, I had not, honestly, I don't know about myself, but I don't think even you or Shell would remember last time when we saw a Wipro waiting 10% up.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's the kind of surprise that you get. But
Hmm.
I would like to add one more point, if you permit. My sense
Absolutely.
is mid-cap IT is going to do reasonably, phenomenally well compared to large
Hmm.
cap. And over there you have LTI Mindtree, Persistent System, Coforge, KPIT Tech, Science Limited, Tata LXI, and all these companies, honestly, over the last couple of quarters, as far as I have witnessed, they have even given better returns to the investors when it comes to investment from a long-term point.
Okay. So that's as far as the IT pack is concerned, and Gaurang's favorite list of stocks over there too. And the other space that I see some ticks coming in is from the FMCG basket. You again have ITC shares that are hovering about 472 odd levels. Then you also have some higher ticks coming in as far as Britannia is also concerned. Nestle is flattish at this point in time. But do you think the time has come to also take some picks as far as the FMCG counters are concerned, Gaurav?
I would honestly, Sakshi, and I think there was a little bit of uh, s- pessimism on the street with the erratic rain that we had last year,
Yeah.
and it is also a well-known fact on the street that semi-urban rural India, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities are the great contributors to the volume growth for the FMCG companies. So, there was a little bit of pessimism whether that demand will come through. But yes, there was erratic rain. Yes, there was a little bit of impact on the volume or the demand side, if you will, from these geographies in India. But it is not something that was alarming. And I think that demand or the volume growth is slowly, steadily coming back. So, likes of ITC, HUL, Tata Consumer, which was in the news for all the good reason as far as takeovers are concerned, to increase its footprint and product profile and offerings across different categories. You have names like Dabur, Marico, Imami, Nestle, Britannia. I mean, honestly, I think there are almost about a dozen stocks in the FMCG universe on which Geojit Financial Services has a coverage on the positive side.
Okay. Sakshi, again, I'll doff my hat again to Gaurang. Cochin Shipyard, age 25 days high. It's the top gainer in the FNO, in the PSU basket, almost 4% higher. Needless to say, it's a record high. And one must always remember the past. There was a time when Cochin Shipyard was, I think, on a particular day down 6.5, 7%. I think it was the day of the split. And Gaurang has actually interrupted us and said, I will, I don't remember the phrase, he said very clearly that this is my most consistent pick and see how well it has worked out. Again, Gaurang, I'm doffing my hat to your stock picking abilities and more importantly, sticking your neck out at a time when the stock was in crisis that day. For those who had bought, well, good luck to you and
He had called it a
please thank
screaming
Gaurang.
buy, I
He's the only
remember,
guy
Shell.
again who's not on Twitter.
Shell, I remember he said it's a screaming
Correct,
buy.
Okay. तो स्क्रीमिंग बाय आपके सामने है देवियों और सज्जनों और बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से काम करता हुआ इस वक्त 825 रुपए 4% हायर. लेट्स लुक एट वॉल्यूम. वॉल्यूम इज 28 lakhs 64,000 shares. Let me just see what is it in relation to the 5-day average. It's very difficult at the moment to find that out क्योंकि इस वक्त तो सिर्फ रिलायंस और HDFC बैंक में खरीदारी चल रही है लेकिन कोचिन शिपयार्ड कहीं तो होगा. Let me just find out.
Yeah, it's
Okay, let me just
3.5% higher.
arrange this alphabetically. It will take some time. No, I just wanted to see what is the average in term the trade in terms of, okay, it's 50% of 5-day average is already done, and we are in the first 10 odd minutes of trade. So That's really good. And Sakshi, correction, logic, everything is, now off the charts. कोई कुछ नहीं सोच रहा in terms of common sense. Look at BHEL. Day's low is 200. The stock is at 209. RVNL, day's low 216. Now at 230, 3% higher. IREDA, day's low 114. The stock is now at 121. All I'm trying to say is that people are using this dip like crazy to buy. And this is, not in front lines alone. Like I said, high beta is doing extremely well. I was thinking that PSUs will be 5, 7, 10% lower today. But every single dip has been purchased, Sakshi. BHEL
Absolutely.
210, Gas Authority 169.
Yes,
Your side.
absolutely. The oil and gas space has started to buzz again. You have ONGC, you have Coal India again buzzing in trade, and you pointed out GAIL as well. So the gas stocks are also ticking higher. Let me take it across to Milene, has joined us back again. Milene, what's the kind of momentum that you track in the oil and gas space, and is this a space that is likely to show some strength even going forward?
See, GAIL is the one stock which is showing strength on the chart. Now, again, it is showing some kind of a accumulation pattern at current levels. It is currently trading somewhere around, say, 167. Good support at 160. 155 levels. One can initiate a long at current levels and keep a stop loss of say somewhere around 150. On the higher side, you could expect GAIL to test the levels of say 180, 195 to outer extent of 200 levels.
Okay. So that's as far as GAIL is concerned. What about Gaurang? Which counters would you go with in the oil and gas space, and is there a long-term structural story that you're tracking here?
So I'll again, there is the entire universe of different verticals in the entire
Yes.
pack, whether it's to do with exploration, whether it is to do with the oil marketing companies, or whether it is to do with city gas distribution companies.
Yeah.
So Sakshi, I think we have coverage on ONGC GAIL, as a matter of fact. Reliance included, because they are also into a diversified play with exploration as well and refining both. Oil marketing companies, all three of them, HPP, PIOC, we have coverage. But my interest, the question that you asked me, is going to be in the gas city gas distribution. So you have names like Mahanagar Gas, you have names like IGL, despite the fact that there was a absolute horror on the street with the policy change, and Indraprasth IGL did suffer to a great extent from the levels where it was trading, but is slowly catching up. So you have IGL, MGL, GSPL, Gujarat Gas, and Petronet LNG. This is where I would possibly be looking for the next opportunity in terms of investment idea.
Okay, and you briefly mentioned Reliance Industries. It's 0.7% higher right now at 2768. I want to ask you, Gaurang, what suddenly has changed for Reliance Industries? I mean, right ahead of the earnings now, and it's moving up. Do you expect the earnings to be a beat? Do you think something is changing now at this point in time? What would you say?
So, Sakshi, if I read right and if I recollect right, Friday is the day when we'll meet with Reliance Q3 numbers post the market.
Yes.
It's going to be late evening.
Yes.
Undoubtedly, I think expectation from the new gen business was always on the high side, and I think the business strategy that was put in place and executed at ground level with the leadership that we have has done and augured extremely well. Traditional businesses are contributing at a steady pace. Green hydrogen, my interest would be over there in terms of the management commentary, how they are looking at and how they want to take it forward. And of course, the big game changer is going to be oil to chemicals, what was spoken about. So you have, diversified, and including, not to forget, Geo Cell Services, which is also a great contributor. So we have coverage, let me say this. 3,000 is the target as of now. Friday evening is the number. I hope it will do justice in terms of upgrades.
Gaurang, just your view on Geo Financial Services. bit of a disappointment coming there if you look at the third quarter numbers. Is this a knee-jerk reaction? Would you sort of stick your neck out and say 245 is a range to buy, or should we stay away?
आपने आज नाश्ते में क्या खा रखा है आपने? आप वही स्टॉक का नाम ले रहे हैं जहां पर हमारी कवरेज है. We have a buy coverage for Jio Financial Services. And to be very honest, I think this is work at work in progress. And I think with the kind of all detailed business layout and offerings and products that they want to go down and deliver, is going to take some time because the wheels have just started to move. Acceleration will have the speed and the rotation to garner much better numbers. And I'm sure after touching a new high, I think it was 265, 270 or thereabouts, correct me if I'm wrong, Shell, we could see better days as we see businesses getting unfolded at ground level. So we have a buy on Jio Financial Services.
Okay. Sakshi, I'd just like to mark one more stock. No surprise there, Cochin Shipyard. Last time we saw it was 825, now it's 837. And I will never, how should I say, feel over enthusiastic when I say let me doff my hat off again to you, Gaurang, and let's get Milin in the conversation. I think he's back with us. Milin, your view on Cochin Shipyard?
Shell, yes, this counter is having higher relative strength now, clearly making a higher top, higher bottom formation when the momentum indicators are still positively poised. Currently trading at say 846 at present. One can hold this stock with a stop loss of say somewhere around say 800 on the higher side. This stock is likely to test 900 to 910 levels in couple of days time. So one can trade with positive bias in Cochin Shipyard.
Okay, just a small point I'd like to make out. There is an event today as far as Cochin Shipyard is concerned. So some of the enthusiasm in the price that you see 4.5% or 5% higher could be because of that event which Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi would be inaugurating a ship repair yard for Cochin in South India. So one has to be a bit careful. I thought I'll mention that point. And we started watching it at 8:15. Thanked Gaurang. We started watching it at 8:23. We again thanked Gaurang. We started marking it at 8:39. We again thanked Gaurang. We started taking a technical view at 8:35 with Milin, and now, ladies and gentlemen, it is at 8:65. Sakshi.
Gains coming in. I mean, like, all kudos to Gaurang for this. We have to celebrate today, and your pick on Cochin Shipyard as well after the show. And even if it is virtually, we will do that. What we'll do is we'll take a very, very quick break right here. But when we return, and we will continue to spot some stocks for all our viewers, as we always do with this magical trio that we have. And we will discuss a bit of the auto stocks which have not been discussed so far on the show. So stay tuned.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
Welcome back. You're watching Market Today on Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi, with me is Shail Bhatnagar, and also with us are our special guests Gaurang Shah and Milin Vasudev. Markets are looking, up. Of course, it's down by 0.9%, but they have picked up from the lowest point of the day. Right now, 200 points down on the Nifty, 21,828 in front of you. It's the IT stocks that are taking the charge of this recovery in the markets from the lowest level. So you have TCS, HCL Tech, Infosys, LTI Mindtree, Reliance Industries, Tech Mahindra, all of these stocks that are supporting the markets. Of course, apart from this, there is L&T. That's also picking up pace, so we will discuss on that front as well. The oil and gas stocks are also providing some support to the markets at this point in time as well. But let me just, as promised to all our viewers, we always discuss on the auto stocks. They're the ones that have taken a pause after the recent run-up, Gaurang. CLSA has a report on two-wheelers where it has downgraded at least 2 to 3 stocks of the two-wheelers space. Bajaj Auto, Eicher Motors to sell, and they have only an upgrade on Hero MotoCorp. How would you really look at the auto space right now? They are saying that perhaps it's looking overvalued, the space, after the recent rally. But is it something that one should be really taking a note of, or do you think that there is enough and more opportunity for investors to take picks here?
Well, honestly, Sakshi, I would say that beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder.
Yes.
So it depends, how you see it, how the others see it. For us, I think it is still a great opportunity, and I would add 2 or 3 points over here. One is that you're going to have multiple new launches and new avatars getting launched in different platforms, whether it is two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, commercial vehicle. Point number one. Point number two, I recollect listening into the Honorable Union Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari ji, wherein he had mentioned that we are at number 3 right now in terms of automobile production globally, and we want to go to number 1 position. And for that, there are going to be a slew of opportunities that are going to be rolled out, new policies that are going to be rolled out, old ones which need a little bit of tweaking and changes would be put in place. And there is going to be a possibility that Bharat rather, becoming international hub for automobile manufacturing, wherein not only locally the demand will be met with, but globally also. We've heard the entire story of Tesla, etc.,
Yes.
wanting eagerly to come and set up the shop. So, there's going to be plenty of opportunity. And along with auto stocks, I think auto ancillary OEM segment, tire manufacturing companies, battery manufacturing companies will do well. So we continue in case if because of these, reports which are there out on the street, you see any kind of lower level on a particular day, I would repeat the same that I've repeated, that I repeated for HDFC Bank this morning. That is going to be a great opportunity to buy. One more name that I would want to add to is Olectra Green Tech, Sakshi. This is one particular play which looks very exciting to me.
Okay. Olectra Green Tech has actually been, a superb, fantastic move that we've tracked many times, and Shail has pointed out as well on this show. Milin, your own sense on stocks like Olectra Green Tech and some of the other stocks that are related to the EV story particularly?
See, last time also, Gaurang had pointed out Olectra, and correctly, it has moved up very sharply. At present, it is trading at 1659. Currently, it is making a consolidation base formation over here. Good support at somewhere around, say, 1600 levels. But yes, once on the higher side, it has got resistance at around 1800 levels. Once that is being removed with good volumes, then this counter is likely to test, say, 1800 to 2000 levels in couple of months' time. The second stock in an auto sector which is looking nice is Hero MotoCorp. If you see in this fall also, Hero MotoCorp has not corrected a bit. So clearly it is having a higher relative strength. And now for last 4 trading session, it is just trading sideways. So one can also initiate a long in Hero MotoCorp, keep a 100, 200 points stop loss in this. On the higher side, this stock is likely to head towards, say, 4500, 4600 levels.
Sakshi, what were you expecting when it comes to auto stocks? Would Milin or Gaurang ever give a sell call on anything which concerns two-wheelers and four-wheelers, as long as they are in the decent valuation game. That was a good try, but it did not work out, like I said. Okay. Gaurang was asking me what I had for breakfast. Gaurang, I must tell you, I had revdi. So I'm sure you are also enjoying it over some period of time. Okay. What else is clicking? Sakshi, I think the tenor of the market is now improving further. And let's look at the advanced decline ratio. One must look at it from a different cup, which means that are you looking at the cup which is half empty, or are you looking at a cup which is half full? I would imagine, let's look at a cup which is half full. We track 19 indices for you. 14 are in the red, of course, led by Nifty Financial Services, 2.3% lower at 20,951. Nifty Bank is 2.2% lower, 47,650. That is not the story, ladies and gentlemen. The story is that Nifty Bank is 500 points above its day's low, and that is what one needs to pay attention. So from 46,600, the index is now at 47,060. 450 point dip has been purchased. Now you can call it covering of shorts, you can call it value buying, what it is, Bhagwan hai jo aapke samne hai. Now I'll also mark stocks that have hit record highs on this kind of a day within the NSE 500. That would show you where the relative strength is very, very high. It starts, ladies and gentlemen, with Cochin Shipyard, 7.5% higher, 850. Capri Global, Sakshi has been marking this stock for a while, 5% higher, 1008. From the PSU pack, there are two more stocks. RVNL, I think there was news on RVNL today. They are moving into finance a transaction overseas, I think somewhere in Africa. 233, 4.5% higher. SJVN 103, 3.5% higher. Glaxo, Jindal Saw and Jyoti Lab. This is what the move is as far as all-time highs are concerned. Milin, any of these stocks that catch your fancy on the long side? The ones that I have named, RVNL, SGVN, Jindal Saw, Cochin Shipyard. Cochin we have discussed.
See, one stock which is clearly outperforming the benchmark indices is the Black stock, and we are very positive on this stock, and this stock is likely to head towards a 2400, 2500 levels. So here the risk reward ratio is not favorable, but definitely those who are holding the stock can keep a stop loss of say somewhere around 2200. On the higher side, 2450 and 2500 could be possible.
Okay. And on LIC, which we were earlier pointing out, it's above for 904, which was the issue price for retailers, employees and policy holders, where there was a discount for all of those policy holders. So that's above their issue price for the first time ever. It's now 909, 2% higher on LIC. I already discussed this stock with Gaurang. Milin, your view on LIC? How would you look at the chart?
See, LIC definitely for this current week it is outperforming and currently trading at 909 levels. One can keep good support at somewhere around say 880, 860 levels. On the higher side, this stock is likely to test 950 to 960 levels in couple of days time. So one can hold this stock at current levels.
Okay, hold the stock at current levels is what Milin's view is on LIC as well. What more is ticking higher is the entire power space as well. Coal India was moving earlier, and now we have Power Grid and NTPC. That's one of the top stocks that Gaurang has mentioned on the stock on the show as well previously, from the power space that he continues to keep an eye out on. How would you look at these power space stocks and the fresh momentum now, Gaurang? Still continue to accumulate?
I think it's going to be a multi-year earnings improvement for the power generation, power transmission, distribution, as well as power equipment. And what changes, I would not hesitate to see this, Sakshi, that what changes and turnaround we saw in defense, which continues even this day, is the similar thing which will happen to power generation, transmission, distribution, power equipments, including railways, which my good friend Shell was highlighting couple of stocks. So don't look at these as 3 months, 6 months kind of investment. Look at as at least 1.5 to 3 year plus kind of a time horizon to make a very decent and a meaningful return from your investments.
Okay, Sakshi, let's mark a couple of stocks which are now moving fairly strongly. We remember discussed Electra Green. It was mentioned by Gorang about 10 minutes ago. Now at day's high, Electra is trying to cancel a 4 day fall with this kind of a move, and I can't see the price in front of me. It was, I think, 16 something, 1693, 21% higher. What's also moving is the PSU banking space. Sakshi, if you remember, I had sent you a grab of the PSU stocks in the pre-open segment, and would you believe it that some of them are now in the green, and it's Bank of Maharashtra which we should look at, a low of 48.70 and now 2.8% higher at 51.45. I think this is a 6-7 year high. Milind, would you stick your neck out on Bank of Maharashtra? Your view here?
Yes, clearly on the daily chart, we have seen a consolidation breakout at say somewhere around 50 levels. Then today it dipped down to the levels of 48, and now it has got an immediate resistance of 52.25 levels. That level is being crossed. This stock is likely to head towards say 55 to 56 levels. One should keep a stop loss of somewhere around 47 in today's trading session.
Okay, that's how it is at the moment. Sakshi, just let's look at the broader markets. I want to see the advanced decline ratio. Across the Nifty, it's 788 stocks in the green and 1300 in the red. Nothing to be worried about. Now, NSE 500 is what I want to see. Let's look at NSE 500. Index is down 0.5%, 0.7% to be precise. 164 stocks are in the red versus 335. So that's 1:2 favoring bears. What else is moving? You've already marked LIC, so I won't look at it. I think a very, very strong move coming in there. What else is clicking? I think, Sakshi, over the next 5 or 6 minutes, Nifty will make an intraday high, which was breaching 21,846. Remember, we are tracking the 21,800 January 18 and January 25 call for you. Let's see whether that is possible or not. But in the first half an hour, in the first 45 minutes of trade, 40 minutes of trade, we've seen a fairly strong understanding that this dip should be purchased, and all frontline stocks, all high beta stocks have dipped substantially lower, and then very strong buying has emerged. Again, let's pay focus to the index heavyweights. Reliance, ladies and gentlemen, is now in the green, and from a low of 27.17, it's at 27.52. Sakshi, these are unheard of moves on index heavyweights. I would also like to mark the low of HDFC Bank, supposedly the main culprit today. 1560 is the low, and the stock is at 1587. Now you can argue till cows come home that this 27 rupee uptick is because of short covering or because of value buying. We will decide that later. But that's what I'm trying to say, that all these dips have been purchased in the green, ladies and gentlemen, within the index heavyweight space. are Infosys, Reliance, two of the heaviest weighted counters, and of course my eternal favorite L&T, 35.93, 0.5% higher. Gaurang, your parting shots on L&T. Okay, Milind bhai, your view on L&T.
The L&T, if you see, Shell, for nearly 8 trading session, it is just trading sideways and giving no clear trend, but definitely the trend is on the higher side. Good support at somewhere around 3550, 3500 levels. And on the higher side, the resistance is at say somewhere around 3600. Once that level is being crossed with good volumes, then you could expect this stock to test somewhere around 37 and 37.50 in couple of days time.
Okay, fair enough. Well, we are just 3 minutes away from the edition's close, so we'll thank you, Milind, at this point in time, and for spending such wonderful time with all of us and sharing such fantastic stocks. It's always a pleasure to have you. Gaurang's also left. He had another meeting to go to, so thanks to him as well for picking out such considerable stocks that he always picks out for all our viewers. Let's look at wrapping up the markets as of now. Clearly, it's Cochin Shipyard, Gaurang's top stock that is now the top mover on the Nifty 500 basket, 7% higher at 843, a fantastic move over there, followed by Capri Global. You also have stocks like Angel One that are picking up from the sharp reaction on the downward side that it had shown after the market, after the earnings had come in as well. Apart from this, a whole host of other stocks that are moving up in the Nifty pack. It's the IT names. So TCS is up by 1%, HCL Tech 0.8% higher. You have Apollo Hospitals that's suddenly ticked higher, 0.6% up in trade. L&T as pointed out by Shell, also up by 0.5%. Infosys, LTI Mindtree. You also have Titan that's picking up pace now, 0.4% up in trade. Power Grid, Coal India, Hero Moto, Tech Mahindra. These are the other top movers as far as the Nifty pack is concerned. We have media stocks that are doing well. The Nifty Media Index is 1.5% higher. You have Nifty IT that's up by 0.5%. And you have slight green ticks coming in on the consumer durables. So stocks like Titan, they are in focus. From the F&O basket, it's BHEL, it's L&T Technology Services, ICICI Lombard, and Polycab as some of the other stocks that are moving up in trade. And from the cement basket, it's ACC, Ambuja, that's also ticking higher in trade. From the Nifty pack, it was Ultratech Cement. Remember, this space is also buzzing because brokerage houses also have a positive coverage on this one. All right, with that, what we'll do is we will wrap up this special edition for you, but we will continue updates in the market, so do stay with us throughout the course of the day, and we will see you again at the closing trades. With that, it's a goodbye from me and Shell on this edition.
Darwin Platform Group of Companies is one of the fastest growing diversified Indian conglomerates with global footprints. It is setting up offices globally and tying up with companies across the globe for multiple sectors. The company has ventured into real estate and construction, stockbroking and finance, arms and ammunition, mining, airlines, and many other sectors.
In today's rapidly evolving business environment, when risk is omnipresent, managing risks is no longer just about ticking a few boxes. Businesses need to maintain a panoramic view of risks to stay ahead of the curve. Join us to explore how organizations can rethink risk to unlock new possibilities and become fit for future. At PwC presents De-Risking the Future in collaboration with Business Today.
The state of erstwhile united Andhra Pradesh and later Telangana has always had a very strong presence here at the World